Look at this pastry. It's slightly crispy on the outside and juicy and soft on the inside. You can eat it just like this on its own or with something you like. The first thing I do is activate the yeast. Into a small bowl, I put 40 grams of fresh yeast or 10 grams of dry yeast. I will add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of flour, and I will pour 200 milliliters of warm milk over everything. Then I mix it and leave it to rest for about 10 minutes for the yeast to activate. When you see the yeast is puffed up like this, you can continue with the work. Into the mixing bowl, put 850 grams of soft flour and then add 2 level tablespoons of salt. Mix everything like this now. Then add this activated yeast. Here I pour in 50 milliliters of oil, 250 milliliters of lukewarm water, it can also be at room temperature, and 1 whole egg. Now I will first mix all of this with a wooden spoon like this, and then I will also knead the dough a bit. When all the ingredients combine like this, pour 20 milliliters of oil over the dough. And continue kneading. When the oil is incorporated into the dough like this and it becomes sticky again, you can flip it over, shape it into a ball like this. Cover it with a cloth and leave it to rest for 1 hour. I place the risen dough on the work surface. And now I will just knead it lightly here. Just like this. I will then divide it into 4 parts. I shape each of these parts into a ball, but I don't do this for long so the dough doesn't become tough. If you happen to do this for too long, then just let it rest a bit longer, shaped into a ball like this to relax. I will leave them like this, just for about 5 minutes. I now take 1 piece of dough at a time like this and stretch it out. If it sticks, sprinkle some flour. It shouldn't stick. This dough wasn't very soft, so it shouldn't be necessary. Now put a little flour. Fold it and then a little on this side too. And leave it aside. Now repeat the same process with the remaining 3 pieces of dough. Once we stretch the dough, soften 200 grams of margarine or butter. I take the first piece of dough and I will stretch it out as much as possible. Then I spread a layer of melted butter. Now take this piece and spread it out a bit with your hand like this. As much as you can. And now cover it like this from the top. Then stretch these edges out further. Now we will spread butter here too. And I will repeat that. And I place the fourth piece. Take a baking sheet like this. Then transfer it onto the baking sheet. About like this. Cover and then place in the fridge for a bit. Just long enough for the dough to cool down so this butter firms up. I take the dough out of the refrigerator and flip it onto the work surface. I will stretch it out a bit, left and right. Then I will flip it. And repeat the same. I stretch the dough into a rectangle as much as I can like this. But I don't press too hard so that the margarine doesn't leak out. Did you know? The margarine that has no trans fats is the Dobro Utro dairy margarine. So you can melt and use the Dobro Utro margarine. Now we need to do one more fold and wait. What can I say? For some good things, it's worth putting in the effort. So, that's it for that. I take a knife. Then I make cuts on one side like this. Here, look at this side. I did that on purpose so that later, when I stretch the dough, it spreads out more nicely, and then when it bakes, it layers nicely. Now I take this baking sheet again. Transfer the dough. Cover the dough with a cloth, and I put it in the refrigerator to firm up 15 minutes. When you take it out of the refrigerator, sprinkle with a little flour, then flip it back onto the table. Be sure to use your hand like this to thin it out. Now we will stretch it out a bit up and down, a bit left and right, as much as the dough allows. Then we will flip it to create balance. I will then trim these edges a bit like this, just to even them out. I won't throw them away. I will bake them separately. Now, however you prefer, cut it into 2 or 3 parts. I will cut it into 3 to get smaller pastries. What I will do next is make a cut like this, down the middle. Each one of these. These small triangles diagonally. And now take a piece like this and twist it once or twice. However you like. They are smaller, so maybe just once. Once we arrange them on the baking tray, cover with the cloth and let them rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. After the pastries have rested, mix 1 egg yolk with 1 tablespoon of milk. I will glaze the pastries with this mixture. After glazing, I will sprinkle with a little coarse sea salt. This step you can do or skip, as well as sprinkling with any seeds you like. I will let the pastries rest while the oven preheats to 200 degrees Celsius. I put the pastries into the preheated oven to bake. Here they are, baked. Baking time 30 minutes. Now glaze each one with a little butter. The butter that's left here in the bowl is enough. The pastries are still quite hot, but I will show you what they look like. Look how wonderfully soft it is. You can serve it with something, and it's excellent just like this, with a cup of yogurt.